Hello everyone. Today we're gonna look into VPNs and gateway. So today we're gonna configure two type of VPNs. One is point to site and other one is site to site. So this is our diagram which we're gonna follow. So let's start by creating the VNet. So I'm just gonna put this one on the side and let's start with the resource group. So let's create resource group first. So once a resource group is created, we create it in East US first, and let's create our virtual network. So we put down VNet East US. Okay, let's create the IP address as well. This is fine. And we're gonna change from default to public subnet. And the IP address we're gonna give it is same, and let's save and create. So we will wait for our VNet to get completed. Okay, perfect. So our VNet is created. Now let's create our network security group. I was looking, it should be in there. Okay, it's not there, so let's search for it. Network security group, NSG, and let's create this. It's gonna be in the same resource group. We're gonna call it network security group East US. Okay, that's created. Now we're gonna associate, let's create an inbound rule. So what we're gonna do, we're gonna allow all the traffic. And rule, we're gonna call it allow all. Okay, let's do a refresh. Okay, hold on, I done some blunder. So this should be static. And now let's save. Okay, now refresh and make sure, yep, this is all done. Now let's associate this network security group to our VNet and then subnet to public subnet. Okay, that's done. So just click twice. Okay, that's all done now. Okay, now we done this thing. We created our outer part, which is our VNet resource group. Now let's launch virtual machine Linux into that resource group using that VNet. So let's create. We're gonna use Linux this time, resource group, and I'm gonna call it virtual, or let's call it Linux VM and East US. And it's East US and change it to Ubuntu. Let's create a password for this. And then and we'll allow these ports just in case, and next in networking. Yeah, that's perfect. It picks up our VNet already. Okay, we should not be creating the public IP address, but I will create just in case if you have to test something. And let's disable it, and I think that's pretty much it. Okay, now let's create. So we have done this part now, and now we need to do the VPN gateway. But before doing this one, let me create another resource group. So we're gonna try to simulate like we got the on-premise network. So I'm gonna create another resource group in a different region and create a virtual machine Windows, and then we're gonna try to ping and test this. So let's create another resource group. Okay, I will wait for this one to finish. Perfect. So that's done. We probably don't have to log into this. Don't have to log in into this one. So let's create another resource group. Let's take which region shall we go? Let's go for UK South and resource group UK South. And we will keep the virtual network default, and let's launch a machine in there. So for that, we need to go to a virtual machine, create a virtual machine, and then create our right resource group, South, UK South, and we're gonna call it Windows 2019 and South, UK South. And then let's create a password for this. Gonna call it desktop and the password. And we need to allow RDP. Oops, we did not select the right operating system. That's why it was not giving us option. So now we got RDP option there. Enable all of them. Yes, yes. We basically use RDP, but I just enable all of them. Since we are doing a test environment in real production, you should not be enabling any port unless you are sure what you're going to be doing with those ports, like how you want to use those ports. So we're going to leave these ones as default. Next, management is just going to say disable. Next, next, and let's create. Okay, now let's hit create. So if you look at the diagram, we have done this bit a bit. We got our resource group, then we got our virtual network, we got our public subnet in this virtual network, and then we got our Linux machine running. And then we created another resource group, which we call it South, UK South. And then we launch a machine in this region. And what we're gonna try to do, we're gonna try to create a VPN connection so we can ping from here into this network on the private IP address. Okay, so our machine is ready. So let's RDP into this machine because we need to be doing few bits in there. So RDP, I came up on the other screen. Let's put the public IP address. It should prompt to enter the details. Let's enter the details and what we're gonna call it. Yeah. Okay, perfect. So we will leave our machine to launch and prepare in the background. Now let's go and create our VPN or virtual network gateway. Okay, so this should be in the same region where our Linux machine is. So let's create, and I'm gonna call it VPN gateway, virtual network gateway. V gateway, let's call it easy name gateway. And as we saw, it should be in East US. Okay, these settings, we need to be a bit careful. So we're going to use VPN as we are doing a VPN connection gateway. VPN type should be root based. We're not using policy based. Express use, we will look into it later on in future. Okay, virtual network. Now, virtual network is the network which we were in. So which was this network which we have created. And then uh, public IP address name, we're gonna call it VPN gateway IP. And these settings, we're gonna keep it as it is, like default. Let me call it VPN gateway so it's easy for me to figure it out. And East US. US. Okay, now let's create this. Okay, this can take up to 20 minutes. So what we're gonna do, we're gonna let it run in the background. And let's jump into our Windows machine. Okay, in this one, we need to do few configuration. So let's close this one. We don't need the service manager there. So the first thing we need to do, we need to create 2 certificates for this. Let's do MMC. I'm gonna keep this one open and then let me run the command prompt. Because we need the command prompt. Okay, now I should kept that link, but let me get this. So what we need to get the certificate generated. So let me type. I can't remember that command by heart, but let me get that command. So it was VPN gateway certificate in Azure. So let's see if I can able to grab that thing. Yeah, there are 2 shell command which we need to run. Sorry, just okay. Okay, perfect. So this is what I was looking for. So create and self-sign certificate. So we need two certificates. We need root certificate and client certificate. So if you keep a note of this link or just search for it and you will find it. I can't remember the link, so I just search it and I find it. So what we're gonna do, I'm just gonna copy this. Let me maximize this. So this is root. So point to site root certificate, copy this one and paste the command. Oops, okay, my bad. You need to do under the PowerShell. So let's open this. So we need to search for PowerShell and hit enter. Okay, might have missed something there. So let's go back to our link. Copy this and hit enter. Perfect. So that's generated. Now we're gonna do the same for the. So this is for the root, and we need to do the same for the client as well. So root is done. Let's do our client, and I will show you where we need to put those certificates. Okay, that's done. Both of these certificates are generated. Now, if you go to File, Add, and remove snapshot, put certificate, add user account, finish. What it will do, it will create a certificate window here, and if you click on personal certificate, you can see these are the two certificates which we just generated. Okay, now we need to export these certificates. So let's export root one first. Alt export, and next use basic C4 encoding. Next, choose a location, and I will keep this one on desktop. I will call it set certificate root, or you can call it root certificates, up to you. Okay, that's exported. You can see it came up here now. Now let's do the client one or child certificate. Export, next. I will use the default setting for this. Choose and child, set child, child, save, next. Okay, I think I missed something here. Let me quickly check it again. I think we need to set the key as well for this one. Yes, we need to set the keys. Just set the key 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Any number you want. And now, yeah, we need to set the key for this one. This was important. I just missed it. So, set child and hit save. Next, and finish. So that's done. Now we need to install this one on our machine. Current user password, which we set was 1, 2, 3, 4. Next, and that's finished. Perfect. So that's done. Now let's quickly check our portal. What's going on our portal? So our portal was, yeah, yep, it's still running. So it can take some time. If I say some time, it can take up to 20 minutes. Last time when I worked on this, it took good 20 minutes. So what I will do for now, let me show you about this root certificate. So this root certificate, you need to open it in Notepad. Just open a Notepad and then drag or drop, or you can choose the file. Okay, what we need to do, we need to get all this key into one line and get rid of these two. So let's delete this one. I'm gonna keep this one for now, because what I will do, I will use a key delete and then key end, and then delete, then and delete and delete and delete, and we keep doing this way. And delete and delete and delete and delete and delete and delete and here we go. So now the reason why I kept this one because it's easy for you to find out where the certificate ends. Oops. So we don't need, oops, my mouse is playing around a bit. We don't need anything after that. So let's delete this. Perfect. So our whole certificate key is in one line now. So let me copy this. And we will wait for our uh, gateway to deploy. Okay, for now, I will pause the video because it will take a while. So let me pause a recording for now. And once it's ready, I will come back. Hello, so that's finished. So it took good 22 minutes. So our VPN gateway is ready. Now we need to configure it. So let's start configuring it now. Okay, so let's go to our configuration. Let's quickly see. So we need to do point to site. And so we need to do point to site and then do configure. So we need to define a pool. So pool, we can define anything like, let me put this address down. So in the pool, we can define 192, 168. Let's do 16.0.0.24. And in this one, we choose version 2 and authentication type. Obviously, it's going to be Azure certificate. And in here, we're going to call it, let's say root. And if you remember, we done this one. So let's copy this one from here and let's paste this on here because we are doing the Azure certificate thing in here. So that's done and let's hit save. We will not do anything on this one. So root, this one is done. Okay, once it's done, we need to give it some few more minutes and then we will see that this option will appear and we need to download the client and that client need to go on this machine. That's how they're gonna be authenticated. Okay, we're just gonna wait for this one to finish. Okay, it's done, and let's download this one on our machine. Okay, it should take a second to download. Okay, yeah, it came down on my machine on the other screen. Let me take you to the download folder. Okay, this is the one. Why did it came down? Let me double check the date. That's strange. As you can see, it came down twice. I think this is the right one. Let's go with this one. Oh, yeah, this was from yesterday. So this is the right one. This is from last night when doing the practice. Copy this one from here, and then let's go to our machine and just paste it here. And let's extract this one. And run this window one. Okay, once it's installed, you will see a connection here. This is VNet East US. If you remember, that's someone we have created in our picture. So let me pull over the diagram. So this is the one which we have created, and now VNet, and now let's connect it. And hit connect. Do not show this one again. Okay, we got the connection. Perfect. So now let's try to ping and verify our connection. So this is where we are at the moment in this RDP. We're going to go through the internet using the VPN connection, VPN gateway connection, and we're going to reach to this Linux. So we need to find what's the IP address of this Linux box is. So let me minimize this one, go to our virtual machine. Okay, you unsaved edit. I think, I don't know why it's showing this, but yeah, let's go it. And then we need to go to our virtual machines. And as we said, we need to go to Linux machine and 10.0.0.4. So let's open our command prompt and ping 10.0.0.4, and let me do continuous ping. Perfect. So you can see our ping is working. So from this machine, we able to ping to our Linux machine over the VPN. If I click disconnect, you will see it gonna stop working. Here we go. We lost the connection. Now let's go back and connect again. And ping start again. Okay, so thanks for watching. So what we have finished here is point to site VPN. We will continue from this same lab to do the point to site to site VPN. So let me show you the diagram which we're going to be implementing. We will be implementing this thing. We have to create another separate on-premise network and then local gateway. Okay, I'm gonna stop this video here, and we're gonna use the same setup, and we're gonna continue from the same point where we are left. Thanks for watching. See you in the second video. Bye for now.